Stephen?
That's right.
Laurence?
Pleased to meet you.
Stephen Longley.
Yeah.
And so, you were a miner?
I was.
You were a miner, and what colliery pit were you a part of?
Yorkshire Main.
Yorkshire Main, Edlington.
From 1969.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are you?
65.
You're joking. Really?
Yeah, 65.
Bloody hell. Mining must be really good for you.
It's all that washing you did every day.
Well. Gosh. 69 to when?
I finished in 1993.
Is that when Edlington closed?
No, I moved from Edlington in, what was that, 84.
Right. And where did you go to?
Full-time Mines Rescue Service.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. So how many mines were left for you to be a rescue to at the end? Rescue service to?
They just started the closure programme at that time, 92, 93.
Right. Gosh. And so were you, was that a volunteer service or were you permanently like a full-time fireman?
It was like a fire station, permanently manned 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
And how common was a call-out?
After the strike, pretty regular.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that a reason after the strike?
Underground fires.
And they came, and what was that because something had changed?
Well, there'd been nobody in them for that long.
Oh! Because they'd been empty for a year. Dust settling.
Coal dust settling, spontaneous combustion.
Really?
Then a fire.
So the place with the mines were more dangerous after the strike because they'd been left. Good God. So, how often would you, so were they fires the main reason for coming out?
We used to cover everything, fires, underground accidents to miners. When the doctor was required to go down, we had to go down with doctor.
Right. Gosh. And so, back in '69, you were brought up, where were you born?
I was born in a place called Harlington, near Barnborough.
Right, okay. To a family of miners?
Yeah, my dad was a miner at Barnborough Colliery.
Right. And did you have brothers and sisters?
I had two sisters. They never went down mines.
No.
Just me.
And was your dad happy for you to go to the mine?
It was, what can I say, it was most expected that I went down mine.
Right.
In that time there were 3 jobs, steelworks, mine or bricklayer.
Really?
And that was it.
And 1969. So what did you do? You left school, did you leave school early or?
Normal time.
Normal time?
Yeah, normal time.
And did the whole generation of the kids from the class go down with you, as it were?
A few of my friends went down, yeah.
And what did you do when you went to training?
You went to training, you went to have a week at Bentley Colliery, where they give you your white hat, your belt and your boots.
Yeah.
And then you started at your colliery, Yorkshire Main, working on the surface, filling mine cars with chock pieces or sandbags, loading them up ready to go down pit.
Right. And when did you first go down?
When I was about 17.
And was that with work or was it just?
Yeah, You progressed from pit top, then you went underground. You worked on what they call then haulage, uncoupling and coupling mine cars in pit bottom.
And where did you end up? Did you go through all the disciplines, as it were, all the skills, or did you soon find your?
When did I went on. You had to go for your coalface training then, and you had to go to a different pit. So in 1971 I went to Broadsworth to do my coalface training.
Okay. And that involves?
Every job on coalface.
And was that before the mechanisation, is it, or was it just coming in?
No, mechanisation was in 71.
71. So you're learning on that the big drills and all the big, basically massive handling and tooling.
That's it, yeah.
And was that exciting?
It was good. Different to working at haulage and up pit top.
Yeah.
And then after that you went back to your own colliery for 28 days further training, and then you were put on what we call them units, coalface.
And so you were, when you done all that, you moved into the coalface. Were you a ripper or a?
I did every job. Rips, packs, coalface, chocks, driving coal cutters, everything.
Was that because that's quite unusual, isn't it? I mean, you hear a lot of blokes who sort of were a ripper or whatever for 20 years, I think.
Some did, but if he was off work, then you had to fill in his job. So
Yeah.
some had to fill in the jobs.
So was it called being market man? Or,
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
and were you on a day rate then at that point? Was that kind of the way it was paid?
That's how it was paid. Yeah. That's how it was paid.
So you were kind of waiting in a queue
Yeah.
every morning, a bit nervy.
Yeah. Till you got your own unit, and then you went with a team of men and you stayed with them all the time. So you know your job then from day to day.
Yeah. And how, is it hard to get a unit, or did it just naturally happen?
It just naturally happened. Naturally happened.
So where did your dad, was your dad at Broadswood, was your dad at
Bamborough.
Bamborough?
Mm.
Is that a, sorry, is that a Doncaster pit? Is that in Bamborough?
Yeah, it was. I think it was. At that time it was classed as a South Yorkshire pit, the South Yorkshire collieries, because it was out near Wath and out that area. So yeah, it'd be a South Yorkshire colliery, that one.
And was he a happy miner?
He seemed to be.
Did he enjoy it?
Yeah, he seemed to be. Yeah. Then he moved from Bamborough to Cadeby colliery and worked there until he finished.
And where did you live? Did you live in pit houses or
We lived in
coalboard houses?
a coalboard house in Harlington, then we moved to Deneby. Then we lived in a colliery house in Deneby.
And your mum, she,
Yeah. When we left Arlington, my mum became landlady of a club in Deneby,
all right.
and she took over that. My dad still worked at the pit.
So your mum was always out in the club?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Get paid for it.
Does that mean you're a latchkey kid?
No, we lived in club.
You lived in club?
Yeah, we moved into club.
Wow, what was that like?
It was alright. Yeah, it was fine.
Did it bring on bad habits?
No. No.
The opposite?
No, never smoked.
So you're living over the shop, really? So
That's it. Yeah.
Must have been quite an interesting time, really.
It was a good time, yeah.
A lot of characters
Oh, plenty
coming in.
of characters.
So was that Deneby main club?
No, it was called the St John's Ambulance Club. It was run by a colliery, by Cadeby Pit.
And she was like the manager? Or?
Landlady, what they called landladies at that time.
So when did you get into miners' rescues? Did that happen after?
Well, when I went on coalface, I then started going back to college, and I took my colliery deputies exams and passed them. So a colliery deputy from 1975 till I joined Mines Rescue in '84. But when I went on to coalface, then I joined the part-time rescue. Every colliery had a rescue team of 5 men. They had 2 teams at Yorkshire Main because it was such a big pit. And then a job came up at Mines Rescue Station on Wheatley Hall Road. I applied for that and joined Mines Rescue.
And was it better money or?
No.
No? Was it more of a vocation sort of thing? Or
It was something I was interested in, Mines Rescue.
Right.
We're there from, as I say, '84 until we got made redundant in 1993.
How many people would be on a miners' rescue unit?
At that rescue station there was 14 men, a superintendent and 2 officers.
Right. And were you valued by the miners? Were they considered something?
It was supposed to be a prestige job.
Yeah.
You had to have a medical every year. If you failed your medical, you were out. There were no 2 ways. If you didn't pass your medical, then you weren't fit for service. You had to go back to pit.
Right. So you were a deputy in the end?
Hmm?
How was that? You enjoy being a deputy?
Yeah, all right, yeah, good. Good.
Did you have the respect of your men?
Some?
Did you have a deputy stick?
Yeah, I've still got it.
Have you?
Mm.
What was a deputy stick?
Deputy stick, it would be about, what, 3 foot long. It had a round knob on the handle with a hole in that you could put your miner's light on it, hook it in and then lift it up to test for gas.
Ah.
But also with it being 3 foot wide, that was the distance between the rails down there.
So you could measure the rails?
Yeah.
And do the gas checks?
That's right, yeah.
So you did the gas checks before the miners before each shift?
Yeah, that's what they call the pre-shift inspection.
Yeah.
You went down, tested for gas, and then you allowed them to come onto the unit.
Then what else is the deputy doing?
General safety, record keeping, there was all health and safety records to be kept that you had to do. You had to do 2 inspections at district every shift to make sure everything was all right. You could be shot firing, which was blowing bricks down using explosives, and also first aid.
Right. And so did you have to go back to sort of studies to become a deputy?
Yeah, yeah. Went to college, Doncaster College. That was at Bessica at the time. Bessica College.
And did you get paid to do that? And do you get paid to go to the training? Basically, do you get kind of chosen to be a deputy? Do they kind of say,
You had to pass. You had to go for an interview in front of what they call a production manager up at St George's offices on Thorn Road. And if you thought you were good enough, then they put you forward for training.
And then you have an overman as well, don't you?
That's right.
You and he are kind of working together on this?
On a unit, you'd have the face deputy, 2 gate deputies, and an overman. The overman, he was usually working out by making sure all supplies got in on time and everything was good out by. Very rare you saw an overman at face.
And do you have an office down there? Did you have an office in there?
There was a pit bottom office.
Yeah. And is that where you based yourself? Or?
No, we were on the unit. My unit, it used to take us about, 35, 40 minutes to get to.
To the face?
Yeah.
So they're all working away and you were walking around with your stick?
No, I used to put my stick somewhere. We only used to keep our sticks when inspectors were coming down.
Right. So what would you, so how would you feel, how would the deputies, all the guys are working, you've done your checks, and then you're basically looking for trouble?
Mm.
And if not much trouble is happening, what are you doing?
Well,
Looking for more?
yeah, you have to measure up at start at shift and at end at shift to see how much
The
distance it can get each gate,
So you measure out the progress?
to see how much coal you cook.
Right. And that is quite important because that reflects on the wages of the guys.
At that time they were on bonus, so yeah, it would.
Right, so you're kind of you're the sort of the statistics man.
And we had to fill a book in with what delays we had, why they were delayed, things like that.
And you're obviously now your wages aren't reflected and aren't linked to production. Yours is a flat.
We got bonus, but ours was what they call an area bonus. It was different to the colliery bonus
Right.
because we were staff.
And you have a family? Do you have a family?
I do. I've got 3 children.
Yeah. Are they all left home now?
Thank goodness.
And they're all still local, are they?
Yeah, one lives in Althorpe, one lives in Wheatley, one lives down Bennetthorpe.
And they're not in my. Oh, they're not like Harvey in my.
No.
They've all got careers and jobs now.
They have, yeah.
Kids themselves, or
Pardon?
are you a grandparent?
Yep, got one grandchild, Frankie.
Do you have a partner? Or?
No, my wife died in 1992,
Oh, Christ.
breast cancer.
Jesus. Quite a long time ago.
Mm.
Does that mean you were bringing the kids up
Yeah, yeah, I fetched them, yeah.
while you were working?
Hmm?
So you're basically retired now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, well, I work part-time.
So what do you do as part-time work?
I work for the funeral service.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Are you
Driver bearer.
driver bearer? Does that mean you drive the hearse and bear the coffins?
Yeah.
Now, is that enjoyable?
It's a job.
Is it something you hankered after?
No,
I've always wanted to do that.
No, one of my friends says we've got a part-time job, do you fancy it? I says, why not? Isn't that what it?
So is it fun driving a hearse? Is it difficult? Is it
No.
automatic or manual?
Automatic. It's easy, it's like driving a Dodge.
Keeping the traffic slow.
Yeah.
Must be different. Do you worry about the traffic jams you're causing?
No, not really. They usually understanding.
Do you get bipped? Do you get people getting irritated by you?
No. No. People don't let you out as often as what they used to do.
Really?
No.
How much they cost a hearse?
Over 100 grand.
Really?
Mm.
Really?
Yeah. The top of range makes that have been adapted.
So it must be a place that adapts them specifically.
It
It
is,
must be
yeah.
like
It's a company called Duffy.
a Duffy.
Yeah.
I've always wondered where you buy these niche vehicles. So I suppose when your mum was in this club, I mean, the community was strong, weren't they? I mean, I suppose the community's in this
Oh,
club.
yeah.
Is that club still going?
No, it's demolished. It's demolished.
What's in its place then?
Old people's bungalows, I think.
Really? Demolished because it was no longer needed, or demolished because of schemes that were changing?
They flattened it. They flattened old anyway. They were all terraced houses, outside toilets and stuff like that. And they just demolished them. Demolished them all. Built new housing estates over there.
And are they better?
Yeah,
Is that a matter of opinion?
yeah. A lot better housing.
Is this your abstracts?
Yeah.
These are all photography students, got portfolios to put together, they're all desperate to... I never had so much attention. So were you actively involved in the strike and things, or was it something you kept out of?
We kept out of it. The NUM asked us to stay at work to keep the
This was the rescue service?
asked us to keep the mines safe.
Right. So you were going down to the mines and maintaining
When we
them?
were called out, only if there were fires.
So was there fires during the strike?
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah.
Combusting because there was nothing around?
That's
I mean,
right,
they were
yeah.
empty?
Yeah.
So how would that work? What would happen?
It's spontaneous, what they call spontaneous combustion.
So,
Yeah. Coal dust,
and gas?
not gas, just coal dust that's not been moved. starts heating up.
So would that, when the mine's closed down
Mm.
now, for example, I imagine there's loads of stuff underground still. Is there fires happening as we speak?
No.
So it won't continue just because
No.
it's gas and dust. It just is all inert now.
It's, well, what it is, not being too technical, it's broken the triangle of combustion.
Right.
Because triangle of combustion, you have to have heat, fuel and oxygen.
Okay.
So you've took the oxygen away because you've shut it, no fire.
Right. And then some of those fires are. So you're trained as a kind of a fireman as well as. So you're trained as a fireman. You're trained in first aid and trauma first aid mainly, I presume.
Yeah.
It's like being a paramedic.
That's
And
right.
Are you taking gear down on a rucksack like
We had a big, what they call an emergency kit. It was about, what, 3 foot high, 3 foot across. And it was filled with all the equipment that the doctor would need when he went down there.
Right. And so you accompanied the doctor every
Yeah.
time. So during the strike, the oxygen was still getting down there, so fires
That's
were
right.
still happening.
That's it.
So obviously, if people are picketing and stuff, they're going to say, "Yeah, you go through because you've got
They
to
do.
keep this thing clean." And
Yeah,
go
they
for
want-
some-
They didn't want to be seen to be assisting the pit closures.
Yeah. So you didn't have any qualms about
No.
that. You were happy because you knew.
As long as we got the okay from NUM,
Yeah.
that was fine with us, because we were in the NUM.
So were they happening in Denevy and?
Rosington, Markham Main at Armthorpe, they had one. Hatfield, they had one. And there were some collieries out in other areas that we were called to. There were 3 rescue stations. There were Rotherham, Wakefield and ourselves. And then the big one at Selby. Our rescue station was just round the road here.
Really?
Yeah, on Wheatley Hill Road. It's a Tesco's now.
How many of you on that team?
There were 5 in a rescue team, but there was 14 men on the station. And every night and every weekend there was 5 men on duty, plus an officer, if there was call-outs. And we used to have to stay in his houses. You couldn't go out anywhere, you were on call. And you had a big alarm bell in your house that used to ring if you were required. That was 24 hours a day.
Really?
Yeah. Christmas Day and Boxing Day, New Year's Day. You used to take it in turns to be on standby.
Yeah. I suppose getting away for weekends and stuff was
You used to have your holidays as
the same as everyone else, I suppose.
everybody, yeah, you had your holiday dates that were always planned. You knew years in advance when your holidays were going to be. You had to take them on them 2 weeks, or you had to get somebody else to swap it.
We've gone from singing, Laurence was singing in the one earlier, so there's a duet and Laurence decided to join in to make trio, is it? Was it a trio? All
It's
singing.
nice to be able to concentrate well for once.
I know. So I was like, right, I'm going to have to go and disrupt him a bit. So all this thought, Laurence will just be sat thinking, I'm driving to King's Lynn, I've got this meeting.
I'm afraid I'm not. Engrossed. Gone for 5 hours doing this.
You got to say?
Gone for 5 hours doing this.
I need to fix this tool.
Bit of glue. It's like a generation game.
It's 5 o'clock, Laurence.
Okay. I'll have to be it.
Could we get a close up on this camera, do
Yep.
this together and the sculpture?
Side profiles